Out of the gates and ready to go. Hot Mic with Hutton with Bro underway as we wrap up our coverage of Super Bowl Radio Row. Super Bowl 58 kicking off on Sunday. A loaded guest list from Radio Row here in Las Vegas as we begin the Friday edition. We have made it to the weekend, Chad.
The finish line is right out in front of us. Been a lot of talk about the Las Vegas F1 race here, so I'm thinking about racing right now. We have raced through this week, starting in Nashville, leading over to Vegas the last 2 days, and now day 3 from Vegas on Radio Row, Hutton. We are sprinting. We are flooring it, pedal to the metal, right through the end of the show today.
Adoree Jackson joins us in 15 minutes, plus Donovan McNabb coming up this hour, as well as Greg Olsen, who is crushing it as football analyst, the top broadcast crew for Fox. Well, next season will be Tom Brady taking his spot. We'll ask Greg Olsen about that coming up later this hour as well. Rob Riggle on the show, plus Brian Baumgartner, Kevin from The Office in the show today. Chad, it's loaded, and for good reason. We're here.
You know, it's a chance for us to really show off our versatility today, right? I mean, that's what it's all about.
Later, Chad will dance on this table.
Look, Hutton sometimes just comes in and says, "Entertain me, clown." In any way, we've got some great entertainers here with Kevin from The Office, Brian Baumgartner, and Rob Riggle today. So can't wait for those interviews. I love pop culture. I love TV, love movies. So having a chance to talk to both those guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. And Greg Olsen, man, to know what it's like to be on the right side of the media, right? He is America's darling the way Tony Romo was in year 1. He's become that in year 3 as the #1 Fox crew on his way out. So we'll ask him about what it's like to be replaced by Tom Brady.
Chad, you mentioned a clown.
Yeah.
There's some clowning going on right now in college football where UCLA, they haven't been pleased with Chip Kelly. For whatever reason, they didn't fund the exit for Chip Kelly. But Chip has been looking to leave, looking for an offensive coordinator position. Reportedly, he put in a call even to Kirk Ferentz at Iowa, looking for an opportunity elsewhere to get out from the Bruins program. Well, he found a landing spot. Bill O'Brien is supposedly getting the Boston College job.
Yep.
That leaves a position open at Ohio State, and, well, there's some clowning going on by Chip Kelly by leaving the head coaching position in the Big Ten to be an offensive coordinator in the Big Ten for the top program right now, just based on 5 stars, 4 stars, and coaching experience. They've got it.
Hutton, I can't imagine a bigger flex in college football than what Ohio State has pulled off today. Ohio State has just hired an acting head coach in the Big Ten, in their own conference, to come and be an offensive coordinator for their program. That is stunning. That is stunning for Ohio State. Kudos to them. I mean, way to flex on the entire conference. And this is the prime example of there being such a divide right now in college football between the haves and the have-nots, that you would have a situation where Ohio State within the Big Ten can go and raid the head coach of a school that is headed to the Big Ten in UCLA. UCLA's got financial problems. That athletic department is a mess. That was a lifeline to get into the Big Ten. It saved them. Until they start collecting those checks, though, they are in financial ruin.
Yeah, they're in the red.
Is my understanding in that program. And Chip Kelly is confirming that because no one would talk. We talked a little bit last week, Hutton, about it, and I said, how weird is it to be a UCLA football player right now, knowing that your head coach is likely leaving and you're sort of in this state of purgatory as a program, knowing that he wants to go, and also knowing that UCLA administration, probably they were encouraging him to look around and leave because they didn't want to pay the buyout.
Sure.
They didn't really want him around. They also didn't want to pay a buyout. So now Chip Kelly gets his way. I guess UCLA gets their way, but regardless, this looks like an enormous L for the UCLA Bruins athletic department and program that they would have this happen.
Or it's a victory for them because they wanted him out and they didn't want to finance it, like you mentioned. But also, this is an example. Timing is everything, right? Right place, right time. That's certainly, I can relate to this. Right place, right time. This is perfect for Chip Kelly, but it's also perfect for Ohio State with Bill O'Brien now getting the head coaching job at Boston College. This position opened up, and you have an acting head coach known for offense who needed a spot. Yep. He's been calling the Oakland Raiders. He's been calling around. And this also confirms another thing. He wasn't looking to get out of college football. He wanted out of UCLA because it was a topic we discussed. Is this a coach who wants to get out of the college game because of all the BS that coaches have to put up with now? You know, from recruiting, NIL. What? No, this isn't the case. He's actually going into a spot where he's going to be doing more of that. Recruiting your own players at Ohio State compared to UCLA, way different.
It also feels, the UCLA side of it, bad, even if they did kind of want Chip Kelly gone. And for this reason, I don't think they're going to go big with the next hire. They're going to go cheap with whoever they hire next. I don't think it's going to be a high-paid position relative to the rest of the Big Ten or college football. On the Ohio State side of this is a chips all into the middle of the table move to me. We know Ryan Day's situation.
Yep.
They must beat Michigan for him to retain his job. They must do it. The time is now. Michigan losing all those players, losing their head coach in Jim Harbaugh. Now is the time for Ryan Day. If he does not win that game, I don't think he's back as Ohio State coach. This feels like Michigan a year ago when all those guys were going back. They did not go into the NFL draft. They came back to try to win it all at Michigan, and they accomplished it, even if it was a little help from Connor Stallions and his scouting department. They still won it. It feels like this is Ohio State now, that this is a chips to the middle of the table. We're going to pay big money in the transfer portal. Quinshon Judkins. Mm-hmm. You've got a quarterback that's making money coming in also. It feels like this is going for broke for Ohio State. And speaking of going for broke, that's what UCLA is. And this shows you the true power players in college football. Not that anyone was doubting Ohio State as one of those from a financial perspective and what they can do with NIL and what they can do with that program. But this is the ultimate flex for them.
Oh, and we're about to see the ultimate downfall because UCLA is now looking for a head coach, and they're ultimately probably I would suspect they elevate from within now.
Yeah.
It's February 9th, and you're about to have spring practice. I don't know if they care because their first year in the Big Ten, their head coach has stepped down to stay in conference to be a play caller. That's huge. That speaks volumes for that program and the mess behind the scenes. We'll get Dan Mullen on soon, buddy of Chip Kelly, to find out what really happened behind the scenes here, because we asked him about this. What has Chip Kelly done at UCLA to be on the hot seat? Because it came out, with 2 games left, right before they played USC, that if he lost the game, he's going to be fired.
And I think they won like 3 straight when that report came out. Well, and then they ended up beating USC in the last game of the season.
And then either the board or the president, someone decided, we're not going to spend the money that's going to cost to fire him. Instead, they have him step down.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit, there's a mutual decision on this one. Certainly Chip Kelly wanted out. I do think that it's an odd spot that reports are leaked that you're going to fire the coach and then the coach does well enough to stay, but yet you still don't want him there. I'm sure he wasn't getting a lot of assurances from UCLA about whatever it is he was asking for, whether that be assistant coaches, salary pool, facilities, whatever. A commitment, right, to UCLA football is what they need. UCLA is already in a tough spot because they are the number 2 football program in the city.
Yes.
And USC's their partner going into the Big Ten with them to begin with. It was always going to be a difficult job in football. I think it's made far more difficult now that everyone knows an acting head coach would leave that program and that school to go be the coordinator for another team. Now, not a coordinator in the NFL, right? You can spin that. Hey, you wanted to get away from all that. You can't spin this. This just looks awful for UCLA. They can try to spin it however they want. It's not good. And they should be thanking the Big Ten again for saving them financially by allowing them in their conference.
But they're going to be bottom feeders immediately.
Yeah, it's now one of the 3 or 4 worst jobs in that conference.
And you know what else? This saves Chip Kelly. He's been there 6 years. If he stays there, he's lame duck at some point. He's calling program coaches, trying to, hey, do you need anything offensively? This saves him because now he's with Ryan Day, and one of 2 things. Ryan Day loses to Michigan, peace. And who knows about the whole lineage with Kelly and what happens with all that. And the other thing, and they may just go with some of the other possibilities that within the coaching staff. Point being, gets a head coaching job, probably within the conference again, but with some stability within the athletic department.
And I kind of respect Chip Kelly from this standpoint. Dude really wants to coach ball. I can respect that. Like, he could have easily stepped away. You know, hey, we're going to reach an agreement. I'll step away even with contract time left, and I'll sit a year out and see if I really want to be a head coach again next year. No, he wanted out of UCLA so much, and he still wants to coach football so much that he's just going to go coach ball and be a play caller and offensive coordinator at Ohio State. I kind of respect that. It surprises me a little bit with Chip Kelly that he would want to do that right now in his career. But here we are. Great day for Ohio State. A terrible day for UCLA and their prospects in the Big Ten.
It's always a great day in the NFL. Super Bowl Sunday, great day for everyone. They rake in ratings, cash, all of it. They don't even pay their halftime performer.
That's right.
But yet they will be paid $50 million as soon as you see the ads during the halftime show. We are about to see the highest rated Super Bowl of all time. It tends to set the bar every year. They did that last year. Barely. We're going to see it for a couple of reasons. Maybe the second or third reason is the streaming. You add in all these ratings now. It's Mahomes, it's Kelsey, but the main reason is Taylor Swift. We saw ratings across the board for the NFL hit a target audience for them, for advertisers that wouldn't necessarily be advertising for the NFL, with the target audience for Taylor Swift. 8% increase in ratings across the board for the NFL in the season. And now, Chad, here we are at the Super Bowl, where they have been begging Taylor Swift to be the halftime performer for well over a decade. She didn't do it because she was partnered with Coke and it was the Pepsi halftime show. And then it was Apple Music, and there was some dispute about, the label and her cut of what was going to be among the downloads. Now they have her at the entire week-long festivity. She's everywhere. You also have the entire season where the top networks are cutting away to see her. It's the Taylor Swift show. It's a reality show of Travis and Taylor, and it just so happens to be about a football game. 41-10 was the score. Kansas City boat raced Chicago. Fox went national with the game at 41-10, and over 31 million, I believe, tuned into that game in the fourth quarter. Crazy. And now we see the bar set again. I'm split on this. Will we see immediately they beat this next year? I'm not so sure about that, but the NFL always tends to figure out the ways to do just that in the biggest event, TV, streaming, otherwise, of the year, every year. They're going to do it because it's the National Football League. They're going global with this, and they have the streaming services now also coming on board that will allow them to bring in more viewers. You can stream this through, their Paramount, apparently. Every year you're going to see it. ESPN's got the Super Bowl coming up in 2027. They're saying that their partnership now with the other networks, it's not necessarily about taking the Super Bowl to a streaming-only platform. We're going to see other options, though. When it's 2027 and 2031, those are the two Super Bowls that ESPN has. First time we've seen it on cable. Chad, it's always going to set the new bar. But if we were just rating this in the traditional way, I don't think the NFL would set this viewership record anytime soon if we didn't have the platform that they have now.
Yeah, I think, yes, it's huge. And
unless
it's
she plays the halftime show.
It's impactful, yeah. Everything has been a first this year. Like that Bears game you mentioned, that was the Taylor Swift game. That will always go down as me remembering that. That's the first time Taylor Swift appeared at a game to support Travis Kelce, and America tuned in because you're on social media hearing about it. People tuned into a bad game to watch that because Taylor Swift. I think the next week or 2 weeks later, that was her first road game. She went to the Jets.
It was the following Monday night.
Remember, she was at the Jets. She said, okay, that's a first
Sunday or Monday.
When does the appeal of that kind of wear off with the audience because you see her every game? Right? Eventually it'll happen, but this is the first Taylor Swift Super Bowl. So there's still going to be an appeal to that also. I think all of that is going to lead to some huge things. I'll say this: they don't spend money to the talent for the halftime show, right? They do it for free for the exposure.
You perform for free.
But I don't know if you saw this, Hutton, but they spend some money on the promotion for that. Apple released a 11-minute mini movie with different celebrities that was a hangover-themed deal about where's Usher. And it was different actors looking for Usher. They lost him after a big night partying in Vegas, and they're playing Usher music throughout. And I was captivated by this thing, just the production value with Apple behind it. The teaser for the halftime show, I'm watching this. I've not been excited about Usher at halftime. I watched this damn thing, and I'm thinking, if they put half the production into the halftime show they do to this movie that I just watched, it's going to be a hell of a show. So now I'm excited about Usher.
I mean,
that's promotion at its best. It took me from not really caring about Usher at halftime to I can't wait to see Usher at halftime because of how well done and well produced that video was.
You know who I don't care about is Brittany Mahomes. She's a SI swimsuit cover model, apparently. I don't care. Doesn't move the needle. And I'm their target audience. Don't care about Patrick Mahomes' wife. She's just in the background or just sitting next to the person they really want on TV. They want on your screen the person sitting next to her. And SI has the swimsuit edition. By the way, they have the swimsuit model Sirius XM show over here. She wasn't over there. I'm assuming she's here somewhere promoting this on their specific platform. But they had everyone over there let's just say this, that the 20 girls over there, the 20 women, should have been on the cover based on just this is the 60-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Do you care?
No. And also, whatever happened to the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition being a star maker for models? Right, it was a big deal in the modeling community to be in that issue.
Especially an anniversary year.
And it was a big deal, right? I think back to Kathy Ireland is the name that pops to mind, right? She got famous because of Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. And then she did Necessary Roughness and did some movies and things like that back in the early 90s. But Brittany Mahomes would only interest me if it was part of a collection of NFL quarterback wives. Yeah, and it was a section of it that's all wives of NFL quarterbacks. But not really moving the needle for me.
Yeah, to me, you want someone that the audience, let's go look at Patrick Mahomes' wife. No, I don't care. It's weird. I wonder, though, if Mahomes has something to do with a partnership moving forward.
The fact that he married her has everything to do with it. That's the only reason people care is because she's married to Patrick Mahomes. But it's a big part of it.
You think they do a photo shoot, like a joint photo shoot in there? I don't know.
I don't know. I've seen some. I've seen some photos.
Banana boat.
I don't know if it's the one for the edition or not. But she looks great. But yeah, not really caring.
So while posting one of the pictures on our shoot Instagram story, Brittany shared the message with her 1.8 million followers. I'm here to tell you, people will dislike you, people will love you. Don't let any of that define you. She continued, keep shining and being you. Again, I don't need the.
She's a hero.
The messaging.
She's a hero.
Well,
for doing this.
But not really.
I'm joking.
Just annoying.
Yeah, sarcasm.
Just annoying. Chad, you could be the hero of Valentine's Day with Manscaped. Got to get ready. Valentine's Day next week.
That's right. Roses are red, violets are blue. Trim your balls. Your date will thank you. That's what they're telling you at Manscaped. 20% off you can get right now in free shipping.
How?
With the code HOTMIC, HOTMIC, code HOTMIC. And you can talk about the real hero of Valentine's Day, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code HOTMIC at manscaped.com. 20% off, Hutton. Free shipping at manscaped.com. Use that code HOTMIC to be able to land that.